to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day. While the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor, he was telling you to build your own house.
Build your own house. And of course, why would we not have issues as soon as we get started? Right? Right. Hold on, people. Give me a second here. Okay, there we go. I'm not sure what was going on there. People on the Facebook side, we haven't done nothing on the Facebook side in a minute, but, and I hate the camera that I got over here because we've switched everything over to the YouTube side. So if you want a better experience, go to the No PC show on the YouTube side, all one word, the No PC show, because I'm looking now and I see the reasons why I didn't continue to do it on Facebook, because it's just the experience. You know, you can't comment or anything, but we got the chat and everything open on the side over here. So, welcome to the Thursday night edition of the No PC show. You will not, again, if you are on the Facebook side, you will not see the graphics and things as they appear. We are trying to get everybody to come over to YouTube and subscribe and hit the notification. It gives you a better experience. So, what we want to talk about, well, there's a couple of things we want to cover. One, and the beginning one, is the George Floyd verdict and how that turned out, and how everybody was in the street cheering and whatever. I told a few people, I'm not happy about what? What is there to be happy about? This man is dead. And I don't have the confidence in the system that they will give him the maximum sentence. And even if they do, this man's dead. Which brings me to something, and it's probably going to piss off a lot of people because, well, and I really don't care, because certain things have to be said. The name of the show today is Where Do We Go From Here? We can't make everyone a martyr. There's been a lot of incidents of young people getting shot and killed, and nope, now I'm not saying that anybody deserves to get shot and killed. But it's been a constant theme that I've been talking about, and people still don't seem to get it. Still feel like, oh, there's no consequences for what I do. And I always use the example of, if you know that, say, a lion is going to bite your hand off, and you put your hand in there and you get it bit off, who should have sympathy for you on that? It makes no sense. I think it's a failure of maybe us, the older men, not telling the younger men, like when I was young, how to watch out for these devils and what they will do and how they will create situations that will leave you in a position of possibly getting killed. Malcolm told a story one time about to a protester, and they were going to lay down in front of the tractor or whatever, and he made them get up and said, "Don't ever do that, because these devils will say, 'Oh, my foot slipped' or whatever, but you'll be dead." And that's what we keep talking about. Don't put yourself in these situations, and even if you're in a situation, man up. We saw the situation with Dante Wright. Not saying the young man should have been killed. That's keep reiterating that. But they're about to put handcuffs on you, bro. That's it. Anything you say or do now will be held against you in the court of law. Everybody's talking about, yeah, she should have known she needed a taser and this. Yeah, she should have known. But in the example like I just gave you, the devil only seeks to destroy. So what on earth makes you think that if it's their mission to destroy, that they're not looking for every opportunity? They had the case of Ma'Khia Bryant. I'm actually going to share this on the screen too. Hold on, let me see if I can put this up. I got the video, but for whatever reason, the video wasn't loading, and you know, I'd be running. I need to start setting everything up on Wednesday night, so then we can have it all in order for today. So, hold on, I'm a kind of try to narrate this Ma'Khia Bryant situation, because this is the next situation, and apparently this young lady was having issues with some other girls in the neighborhood or whatever. And at the beginning of the video, they talk about the situation, what's going down, what's going on. And then there becomes a conflict. But when the police show up on the scene, you the aggressor. You the one with the knife. You all are the ones that's out here stumping people down. Bad scenario. When the cops show up on the scene, they don't know who's who. I don't understand why, if you in your crib, you coming out to get it cracking. It makes no sense. I thought the officer probably would have shot the young man that was kicking the lady that fell down. I thought he would have got it first. And then after this happens, everybody acts like shit hadn't popped off. Like it wasn't going down in the hood, as they say. And the amazing thing is, when you look around, when you see the video, you look around, it looks like they were living in a pretty nice area. But supposedly she was in a girls' group home or something. Who knows what it was cracking when they got there. But hold on a second. I'm going to share this. I don't know if, well, I'm not even going to try to play the sound. I'm just going to try to talk through it. So we're going to get this moving. Cop gets on the scene. He's running toward to see whatever's going on. The girl in the pink comes, boom. There's the light-skinned girl. She goes down. Young man kicks her in the face. She's got the knife. She's trying to stab the person. Like the officer wasn't even there when that young lady was already standing next to the officer. Let's go back. We're going to go back and we're going to play it again. Officer's out the car. Watch everybody's motion. Young lady walks over toward the officer, recognizing the officer. This is Ma'Khia and the dude attacking the other young lady, kicking at her. Now she's got the knife and she's about to go at somebody else. Maybe he could have shot her in the leg. This girl was about to stab this other girl, and it could have been a deadly stab. Then you see other officers. I don't know if these other officers were already there on the scene or they had just pulled up right behind everybody else. And you can't hear the sound in what I'm showing you because I want to talk through it. But now everybody's standing around like a bunch of goofies. Like, we didn't mean for it to go like this. But we never mean for it to go like this. We just mean to get it cracking. Let's get it cracking. Let's do what we want to do. That's how we roll. We ain't never scared. So then everybody's coming out, oh, I saw the whole thing. Well, if you saw the whole thing, tell me what he was supposed to do. In all these cases, people are acting like these officers don't have a duty here to be a certain type of way. Look at these nice homes. Don't look like a ghetto situation. So it always amazes me, how do you get to live in different environments and still have that same behavior? How come the mindset doesn't change with the environment? My grandmother always said, it's not the place, it's the people. Hold on, I'm trying to get back to my regular screen here. So they say, it's not the place, it's the people. Brother Dorian has joined us. So we watch that video. We see what goes down. And then we want to make people martyrs. You're not a martyr. I can tell you exactly what happens in the court of law when this is presented, because it happened to my sister. And some older girls attacked her. And she picked up a bottle off the curb and she cut the two older girls. Got to court. She was the one being persecuted. I stood in and say, hey, I'm not going to stop her from protecting herself. Because even before that situation happened, I had already talked to those young ladies and said, not that they're scared to fight you. I don't want them fighting. Leave them alone. Everything will be squashed. But they caught them outside and it jumped off. We don't think about what's going to happen when dealing with these systematic institutional racists, these judges and these police. In the James Blake case, James Blake Jr., when he walked away from those police officers, I got one rule. It's not going to work out for you. Let's stop playing what's wrong. It's not going to work out for you. If that's the smart-ass choice that you're going to make, you're going to catch a bullet in your ass. Let's just make it plain and simple out here, because we tired of fucking around with you all. Decide to walk away from a cop, you're going to catch a bullet in your ass. We're not going to make you a martyr for it. Oh, what about the people that didn't get... Well, that's a whole different thing. George Floyd is a whole different thing. Ed Gardner is a whole different thing. Tamir Rice is a whole different thing. Walter Scott is a whole different thing. I don't get it. There was just another shooting yesterday. They were serving a warrant, supposedly. I don't know. I wasn't there. Things went up. Boom. Guy got killed. Everybody that's getting shot and killed, even on the video, I'm watching the video, and then she's saying, oh, he was so sweet. Now, he did his thing, but he was still a sweet person. We know in the hood what it means when you say you did your thing. We acting like we got to promote ghetto kings and queens because it's cool because they can get down in the hood. It's ridiculous. It's part of the problem that keeps us hood related. All we think about is rap and sports and being ignorant. I don't get it. And maybe some people are going to be mad. Dorian says, I think it's the cop fault. It's the people who disobey the officers. It's both. But if I know I got to deal with this dude in authority, there's a line in a Public Enemy song. He says, I realized the suckers had authority. Cold sweating. How's it go? I realized the suckers had authority. Cold sweating as I sit in my cell. How long has it been they got me sitting in the state pen? Had a thought, but that thought was thought before. I contemplated the plan on the cell floor. Another fugitive on the run, but a brother like me begun to be another one. Public enemy serving time into the rhyme. They criticize me because I'm blind. Nevertheless, they could not understand that I'm a black man and I can never be a citizen. But we don't get it. We don't get it. You think you got rights in this country. You up here pledge allegiance and all this type of stuff. You hyped up. I'm an American. Stop it. Maybe that's the problem. Everybody talking about this cop is guilty, this cop guilty. I said America's guilty. For the systematic systems that were set up and improvised, and we just keep falling into it. And we keep fighting for justice, and everybody's telling us we're the only people that fight to stay under our oppressors. Because we economically enslaved. And we figure if a couple of us get some good jobs or whatever, then that's cool. I'm cool with staying here and being under this oppressive system. I called into a radio show the other day and said, the moment I say Africa, all the black people turn up their nose. That might be the place where you find your real freedom. We scared to build new bridges. We want to keep playing on the old bridges. We still want to stay on an Edmund Pedestin bridge. We want to continue to get beat in the head and all this other type of nonsense. That's what we want to do. That's what we like doing, right? We don't get enough of that. So what's the solution here? Everybody's not a martyr, and I'm not going to martyr everybody. If you standing there, they putting the cuffs on you, then stand there and get the goddamn cuffs put on you. This not a movie. There is no jumping back in your car. There's no fighting the police. There's no walking away from the police. These are the rules that they have set up for you and I. If you want to live, you're going to have to go along with some of those rules. Oh, let's march and let's say how wrong the cop was and in this situation. I'm still waiting on somebody to tell me what happens in this situation. Does she get to stab the girl and kill that girl? What's with the dude kicking the young lady in the face? That really disturbed me. That men are fighting women in the street and kicking them in the face. Where they do that at? That's crazy. And then you don't think when the cops are going to show up on the scene, it's going to be all, oh, this is okay, this is lovely, continue to fight. That's all hood, ridiculous stuff, and we got to start addressing our young people on it. Because right now, so many of them are so ignorant, so confused, and so confused and so convinced at the same time that they know more about what it means to be black in America than we do, that have suffered, and our parents have suffered, and our grandparents have suffered, and passing on to us. I remember I used to leave the house, and my grandma used to always say, well, we always keep a suit, son, because we might have to bury you. Because that was a reality for them, being in the South and being oppressed under some real racism, where they didn't need an excuse to kill you. They just do it. Have a picnic. Dorian says the Edmund Pettus Bridge is named after a KKK member. I can believe it. Most of the southern things. I had something and I really wanted to share with everybody. Let me see if I can get this. I'm going to start, maybe it's just time to start giving people information. Martin Luther King has a book called Where Do We Go From Here? Let me see if I can pull it up here. And I think that would be a good book for us to read. I really do. It's called Where Do We Go From Here? It kind of, well, I don't want to say his wife did a preface of it, so I believe it came out in 1967, like the year right before he got murdered. And he talked about chaos or community. Let me see if I can pull it up. If you want a copy of this book, I have it in PDF format. What I will do, make sure I got it here before I promise it to everybody. Okay, I definitely have it here. So what I will do, if you want a copy of this book, if you want to participate, we'll call it, it'll be kind of like a book club thing or whatever. And we'll talk about some of the stuff that's written inside the book. Because I think a lot of the new age people and even people in my age group that maybe people miss the big picture. A lot of people like to talk that, oh, they were suckers back then and this and they would have did. No, they weren't suckers. You the sucker. Because everything you got is based on what they did. So how they suckers? But that's what I'm saying. The new people are so emotional and haven't really done anything, and everybody wants to go to a march and post something on Facebook real quick. There are some chapters in here, and we'll get through it. I think the book is about, I'm just checking it now, the book is 257 pages long. And I think we should all read it. Let me help people start building their own collections. I think that'd be good. So if you want a copy of Where Do We Go From Here, just hit me at the show 1965 at yahoo.com, and I will email you a copy of it, a PDF file where you can sit and read it. It's like I said, it's just 257 pages. Because the failure to know where we came from and the tactics and things that were being used against our people and how they had to train and be on the lookout. That's another book I was reading by Sidney Poitier, his memoirs. And he talks about when he and Harry Belafonte, back in that day, they couldn't really trust the banks with the money. So a lot of times they would have to bring money for the movement in suitcases and things like that. But quite often, the sheriff or somebody would not arrest, but detain them long enough to notify the Klan or whatever white boy group they had sitting out there. We got so-and-so. We're going to let them go at so-and-so time. You know they got to take that road that way. So be ready to get them. And they go ahead and release them. So this happened to him and Harry Belafonte. But they already knew the trick. So they had already had their boys sitting on the road already in advance. And were able to escape the attack of the Klan. So they were always constantly aware of the Klan. And we trying to act like the police, a lot of the police ain't acting like the Klan now. A lot of the court systems ain't Klan-like. I'm just tired of turning on the TV and watching another black person do something erratical, senseless, and stupid and getting killed. I don't care how people feel about it. Yeah, Blake the David, whatever his name, David Blake or whatever his name was. Yeah, you were on a. I guess there was some type of what they call those agreements where you can't go buy them. Restraining order. So you're not supposed to be over there. You're drunk. You got kids in the car. You acting crazy. You acting erratic, and you think you get to walk away from cops. No, he's going to wake up, and he's already woken up, and he's going to look at that and say, that was some stupid shit I did. I don't know what I was thinking when I pulled it. Oh, well, white people walked away from cops. I done seen white people do some of the craziest stuff. I was with a white person one day, and the cops pulled us over, and I was like, please, God, get me out of this situation, because I knew why they were pulling us over. A black man in the car with a white woman. We worked together, taking a ride to the train station. They take my book bag, throw all my stuff over, I knew the routine, just remain silent. Yes, sir, blah, blah, blah. But the white person got to kick at them, curse them, say all types of crazy stuff for an extended period of time before they finally decided to arrest her. This is the privileges and things that are built into white society. So when we see these white people committing crimes and stuff like that, you're not white. You're not even American. Stop letting people fool you into this false reality that we have been raised in, that somehow this country loves you. It didn't love you enough to change the Constitution. There was a member of the FOP on Maze Jackson's show earlier today. I just stopped listening to him because I could see his inbreeding coming out. And then he started with the lies of where Irish people were slaves too. No, that was different. They weren't chattel slaves. About 30,000 Irish folks were kicked out of their homeland or whatever and sent here. A lot of them were criminals or whatever. And when they got here, they weren't considered 1/5 of a human. They were considered full human beings for all purposes because of the color of their skin. And they weren't in slavery for their whole life. They were more indentured servants than anything that had to work off debts or whatever, and then they were free. That's called prisoners. So stop trying to make your situation here in America, and all the groups do it. They all come here and they tell you some little sob-ass story. Oh, well, my parents came here. Yeah, see, it's a difference. People came here willingly. We were drugged here. The government fought us. They just let you go and be with your own people. When we decide to be ourselves, by ourselves, and self-contained in our own towns and cities, they didn't like that because they weren't getting the money from us. So they attacked us. Stop trying to equate your stories with black people. We are the sufferers of this country. So this whole trial couldn't go but one way with George Floyd because the world was watching. And we got to know. I worked a job. They treated me like shit. But when the big bosses came around, oh, where's Rick? All of a sudden, I get treated great. Everybody's playing nice. As soon as the big bosses leave, you fucking nigger. Yeah, basically that's how I felt, how it came across to me. I'm looking at my screen. I don't know what I got going over here on my screen. It keeps flickering and going in and out. But we're just gonna keep pushing through. So hold on here. I want to show something else. Today they had the Dante Wright funeral. I want to talk about the politicians. I think a lot of the politicians are making these political footballs out of these deaths. We got the Clump dude. He's on every case since the Trayvon Martin situation. And you had Reverend Al Sharpton. And great, if things come out of this that say change the way you interact with black people, great. But I trust a lion to be a lion, a tiger to be a tiger, and I have no trust for them around me. We spend a whole lot of time pushing and begging and pleading for these people to treat us with respect. We got to learn to treat ourselves with respect. Because it's that element inside ourselves that's going to change things for us. We keep thinking that if they change the law, laws cannot be changed to regulate a person's heart, body, and mind. But we keep saying, we gonna overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. What day is that? Even at the end, Dr. King was saying, look, maybe I was wrong thinking that these people will one day embrace us as brothers and sisters as I preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. Baldwin said, we are dealing with moral monsters. Black Panthers, Malcolm, everybody was saying how cruel these people are. Why all of a sudden we acting like we don't know who these people are? Are we smoking too much? Are we popping too many pills? I made a post one day. I said, the devil will always be the devil. Where's the confusion? I'm sorry these young people are dead. I really am. We live in a sick society. We really do. I wake up as a black person every day, just observing, looking. And I have to point out us first. We have to be the catalyst that changes everything. Sometime on a slave ship, there would be a mutiny. And the slaves would uprise, and mostly everybody would wind up dead. Most of the slaves, most of the crew would end up dead. Some might get lucky and wash up on the shore if they were lucky. Most would die. But collectively, they were together. Until we, and that was my comment, that probably my last comment, until we find the unity among ourselves, we're going to continue to have these type of situations. Dante Wright jumping back in the car. It's not going to end good for you, bro. Jacob Blake going toward the car, opening the door. It's not going to end good for you. Don't let people gas you up. Well, what am I supposed to do? The cop grabbing on me? That's what happens when the cops come. If you call the police, there was a show way back and they said, don't call the police. Take care of yourself. But we got too much pride to take our ass back in the house. Sit the fuck down somewhere. We're in the world now. If it's on Facebook, let's get it cracking. Oh, you talking crazy? I'm over here. Come on over here. We get it cracking right out here. unfortunately, that young lady is dead. And yes, I think maybe he could have did something else, but was he thinking about anything else? Because as you saw, the young lady in the pink walked toward the officer. Then the other young lady fell down, being attacked with the knife and getting kicked in the face. I'm shocked he didn't shoot them both right then at that point. He was still trying to ascertain stuff, saying, whoa, 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 whoa. But why wasn't that brother trying to stop everything? You're a man on the scene, a couple of men on the scene, but you're not trying to stop anything. You're not trying to say, hey, Michaela, go in the house, ain't nothing going down, I got your back. You got your back to fight these chicks out in the street with them, but you ain't got the mentality to say, no, sister, it ain't about to go down like that. Go on in the house, I got you. This is the type of behavior that I keep seeing and saying it doesn't make any sense. So when it goes down and now you standing around looking stupid, oh, you shot her. She dead. Yeah. Think about what you could have did, brother. Our job used to be to protect the sisters and love them and hold them up. What you doing? It's sad. That cop that shot Walter Scott when he was running away got 20 years. Sladinger or whatever his name is. Somebody caught that on video. But you know what happened to the person that caught it on video? He got locked up. You know what happened to the person that shot the air guard in the video? He got locked up. Innocent people getting involved and doing the right thing. That's different. We got to know the difference. But you know, everybody deserves to be a martyr. That's what's happening now. Let's make everybody a martyr. Let's highlight the police brutality, but we don't have a community to call our own where we can get black cops to patrol our neighborhoods, because no one wants to deal with that. We can't have it both ways. We got to decide if the way we want to live is righteous. We want the cops to stop killing us, and we want us to stop killing us. We don't want to hear about somebody jumping out and shooting 45 times into a car and killing a 7-year-old baby. You want to march and be outraged over that. We don't want to hear about somebody having an altercation, trying to see who got the biggest balls, and shooting a 2-year-old in the head. I think we had 27 kids under 17 last year get killed here in Chicago. In that Toledo case where the young man's running down the alley, this young man was being recruited. I blame his whole upbringing on why he's dead. Oh, but it was the cop that shot him. If you're running down the alley with a gun and you toss it, then too bad. Nobody taught you to drop the gun and keep running, because that would have been the play. Drop it, keep running. Any move you say or do is going to be used against you. Let's not get it confused. The dude he was with shot that gun 8 times. They got him on video. Boom, 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 boom. We're not trying to live next door to the criminals. We're not trying to live next door to the shooters. We're not trying to live next door to the dope dealer. Why should the way you choose to live your crooked life affect me and the people around me? Why should we be subject to death and mayhem because your shit's fucked up and you don't want to get your shit right and you want to live a certain type of way? Why should we give you any type of praise? You're not going to get my praise, and you're definitely not going to become a martyr. It is what it is. Hopefully I may have to go back and look at this whole show, because I'm seeing so much data fluctuation in my stream. But I just wanted to get that out. we got to start thinking, where's our unity and our dignity? What's our motivation? Are we motivated to be Americans? Are we motivated for reparations? What is our motivations? What are we looking at as future black people? I did shows a long time ago, and I always said every individual black person by a certain age should have a thought about his people and where he would like to see his people in the future. Dorian says we need to stop worrying about repercussions. Anytime something happens, we always worrying about the future. Yeah, try this. Worry about the future first, and then maybe a lot of this stuff won't happen. Worry about what goes on in your community, and maybe the shit won't happen. I can't lie and say I haven't been associated with gang activity, fighting in the neighborhood, people getting stabbed, people getting shot at, all this type of nonsense that goes up in our environments. Thank God I escaped. And when I escaped, the whole mindset escaped. It was great going from a project to a big college campus and seeing the world differently and seeing, okay, this whole racism thing is really a scam. They keep us distracted with the racism, and they make the money happen. They make the deals happen. They keep pushing everything they need to push and get done while we still over here marching and, we need equal this and that. They counting money in the back while we trying to march somewhere and do this and do this and do this. There's nothing in this country that says, for us, this is the greatest country in the world. This is the only country we know. And the deprivation of this country crosses the whole globe. So let's stop all this Pledge of Allegiance stuff. We'll pledge allegiance once they write the check that Martin Luther King talked about some 50-some years ago. We going to D.C. to get a check, and we still ain't got that check. He had it right when he said they wrote a bad check. Yeah, they knew it was bad when they wrote it. In the book, Where Do We Go From Here, he talks about when we got all these rights and everything, all the good white folks that we were aligning with and we thought were our friends, all of a sudden started falling off and started identifying with a lot of the people in the South. Turned out that white people had more in common, from the North and the South, had more in common with each other than they had with us. So this was a shocker to a lot of black people. Like, wow, we thought these people was really with us. No, they really wasn't with us. They used us to get what they wanted or what they felt they needed, and then they kept it moving. They kept it pushing. We always been pawns up in this country. And just because a few of us are successful and you go to school and you get your education and you become successful based on what they say success is, because most people, if they like, look, you ain't got $500,000 sitting in your bank account right now, you probably not successful in this country. Some people say, well, that might be well off. Well, some people might think that's well off. But there's a big disparity between the richest person and the person that we see down on Wacker Drive. They living in excess, and the ones down here are living in mess. I be scribbling little stuff and writing stuff down. And I'm going to end the show with this. I ain't got the whole mindset thought together, but I was like, murder's at an all-time high, and we just walk on by. We don't respect love. we just cry. Who tries? Who lies and who dies? Questions only answered by wise. We got a problem, black people. And a lot of that problem is going to sit with us until we get ourselves together, get our self-respect together, and then people might look at you a little different. They might look at you a little different and say, these people got respect for themselves, and they finally decided to stand up, stop all this I'm an American stuff, and build their communities and raise their children and stop all the violence and things that are perpetrated in the community, and we'll be better off. Durham said, when the founding fathers wrote the Declaration of Independence, they weren't talking about it. Yeah, I don't celebrate the 4th of July. Some people get upset with me too. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, knock yourself out if that's what you want to do. I'm gonna be doing the same thing that our forefathers was doing, watching the fireworks and picking cotton, doing work in the field. That's just another day in the lives of black people. But we so conditioned to kumbaya in this country, regardless of how we're being treated. Saw a commercial the other day. It was kind of amazing because it was the Asians talking about how bad they feel about being in America now and the attacks on the Asian people in the Asian community. And I was like, wow. I never saw a commercial like that about black folks. It was very interesting. You got your president coming out talking about the George Floyd situation. And out of all this, maybe the conversation is what comes from all this. Because Malcolm always said, we're not going to get any resolution until the white man and the black man both can come and sit at the table and express their grievances and feel like they're being heard by the other person. Because all we see is that everything you ever gave us isn't what it's supposed to be. Doesn't deliver the fruit that it's supposed to deliver. So we have a right to be a certain way, and people think it's lovely. A lot of this stuff now, we're just talking about world stuff. If you go get a job in corporate America, that's just a smaller version of America and the crap that black people have to go through to sustain and have a family and keep things growing and moving in the world are ridiculous. Because most of the time, you don't work for a black person. And then, even then, you got to be careful what type of black person you working for. Sometimes I think I can be an offensive black person. Some people don't like this crunk. Nobody cares. It's crux. I mean, it's just decorations. Well, that means something. Well, it can mean whatever you want it to mean. It's a piece of jewelry. I've always worn necklaces and bracelets and all this stuff all my life. I don't wear Gucci watches, Rolexes. I'm not out here trying to stunt. I don't wear Jordan gym shoes. Never owned a pair. I wear New Balance. I'm not out here trying to front, and that's a big problem of ours. But it is what it is. We kind of went over our time, but we are going to have to, like I say, if you want a copy of Martin Luther King's book, Where Do We Go From Here, I will send you the PDF. Just hit me up on the show 1965 at yahoo.com, and I will send you a copy of that. I'm just not going to post it out here because I don't want to send it to people that don't want to read it. So let me know. Hit me up. On that note, we're going to say like we always say, love, peace, soul. Let's get back to saying that. That was the stuff. But I don't know. It's a new generation. Love, peace, soul. We out of here.
Step out the car.
Do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove
I
you.
refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Step
Now if your woman ain't no revolutionary, she'll persuade you to be a fucking slave for the rest of your days. She'll be grooming you on how to behave, teaching you how to coon and buck dance so that you can be safe. If that brother ain't no rider, soldier, no provider, molder of young minds, check it out, you got yourself a bitch. Think about the time that you invested in him. If he's wearing them skinny jeans, you a lesbian. For every 100 black women who ain't locked up, it's only 83 black men remain. Take away 1.5 million black men who might have benefited they women and their children. You don't know a war when it's waged against you, when it makes you drive your baby mama to the clinic just to kill your own. Ain't no legacy to leave behind, cause ain't nobody sitting on your throne. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Sandra Bland was a rider. She wouldn't have committed suicide, and you a motherfucking liar. It would not be wise to stop when you hear sirens and you see the police behind you, but you don't wanna die. They gon' shoot you if you run. They gon' say that you was going for the police gun. That's why they shot you like 120 times, but you was still coming, so they put another bullet in your lung. Them devils got you praying while they murder, because they know you on that bullshit. They steady with them bull clips and body armor. They kill your women in the street, cause they figure you too weak to do anything about it. You some shit, getting fucked in your sleep. They poison you every time you brush your teeth. You don't care, you behave like a slave. A bitch from the cradle to the grave, on your knees with your hands out, begging cause you won't. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga.